August is like my favorite time of the garden. August is really the beginning of what I consider like harvest time. And man, the garden just be so plentiful and full. It's always such a beautiful time of the year. So, without further ado, let's see where we're at in the garden. As you can see, the two zucchinis are massive. They're kind of slowing down a little bit in production. I think this one's got 3 zucchinis on it right now, and this one's got maybe 1 or 2. See the cucumber. Pretty sure this one's the pickles. And I think that this massive one that's all over here is the regular cucumbers. They really just started exploding and in growth and like vining out really intensely over the last week or so. Slowly but surely these peppers are still trying, so I think these are my hots. So we got like a jalapeno, we got cayenne, and can't remember the other one. And at this point I honestly don't know if we're gonna get anything out of any of them, so we might just have to try hot peppers again next year. So you can see this patch and this patch, right? So this corn looking great, right? You know, beautiful ears finally coming on it. You can see, so we're getting some corn development. But I ended up planting that corn because this corn, so it was starting to tassel real heavy, but I didn't have any silk production at all. And so everything I tried to see when I was looking it up basically said that I might as well cut it all down and start over because I wasn't going to get no corn production. So I kind of know better than to just blindly trust the internet and, you know, you just try it, right? So I left this go, and just in case I planted an early run of corn. So this only takes 60 days to harvest. So I think we can still harvest this in like October, and it's got some frost tolerance. So if it starts to get cold, but by the time it's ready to harvest, I still think we'll be okay. And then lo and behold, after like 2 or 3 weeks, boom, this one started like getting silk production, and now we got corn production. So if this one doesn't come to harvest, okay, but at least I didn't cut this one down thinking that I was screwed and now I'm not going to get none of this corn and might not get none of that corn, or it might end with both, and that's fine too. Cantaloupes are doing pretty good, as you can see. 1, 2, 3 cantaloupes growing so far. I know there's a couple other small ones. Melons just starting to form. Green beans are still doing pretty good. Some of them are kind of dying off, got a little sickly, but they're making a pretty nice recovery, and we're back into green bean production on them. They took a little break. I don't think the cabbage is gonna end up being much of a cabbage, so that'll probably just go to the chickens at the end of the season, along with a lot of this kale. I don't think I hate growing kale, and so far I've enjoyed putting it in foods, but it's just the bugs are wrecking me on it. So I'm gonna try again next season and hopefully get a better kale production. You can see starting to get some of my fall run of lettuces starting to sprout back up, and here soon I'm gonna plant another sprinkling of them in because that first set didn't take too well. I mean, obviously the hot August sun, but I'm gonna succession plant. So here soon I'll plant another little sprinkling of those. I've got some late potatoes that were sprouting in the kitchen. Half tempted to see if they're gonna grow at all, because they've been sitting there for a minute. And 2, I don't know if there's enough time to harvest any potatoes before the end of the season. 3, we'll see about if they overwinter. And to my question of if they're gonna grow, it looks like I'm just starting to get some growth off at least the one here. Starting to get a little mounding up there. So yeah, there's another little tip coming through. So I'll let these pop out and then I'll just mount them back up. They're literally like, I just kind of pulled out some grass, threw the taters on, threw some dirt on them, threw some compost on them. And this is literally just an experiment. Green beans, those will be ready to harvest soon. Raspberry, this one's wild. It's really starting to pop. Hopefully it starts flowering soon. If not, you know, we should get a run next year. It might have been too badly damaged this season. The black raspberry from my parents' garden is growing. Again, not really expecting anything to harvest. Usually, you know, you plant them and pay for them next season. Cauliflower's doing pretty good. So far, this is the only one that's really, you know, showing growth of much development. That one's just starting to show some head growth, and so we might, you know, finally get harvest some cauliflower come fall after I planted them at the end of winter. Peas are growing up real good. Like I said, so this is my second batch of late corn. So we'll see how they do, and then I did like a little border of green beans around it for, you know, nitrogen. And then I was gonna let the cucumber grow through here for a Three Sisters kind of effect, but it's trying to be too crazy, so I don't want to smother the corn out. You can see I've been starting to wheel some compost into some areas. I'm just trying to kill off the grass with the cardboard and then fill it in with compost and slowly fill it in. And this fall I'll bring in a bunch of leaf mulch and pile up some leaf mulch. Cherry tomatoes are doing wonderful. Starting to get a lot off the harvest of these jelly bean variety. Delicious, by the way, highly recommend. And the regular ones are starting to pop in too. I've been starting to harvest a little bit off those. The Romas are all having fantastic growth and development. Beautiful, beautiful batch of tomatoes coming in on those. So looking forward to those starting to redden up, get some fresh Romas, and to make some sauces. Not too much else going on in the garden, really. Our pumpkins are starting to stretch out. So, looking forward to fall pumpkins. My sunflowers are finally really starting to take off. Try to take you around and show you some of the blooms. Habaneros are doing really well. She's flowering and fruiting, and they're coming into harvest. I've already got a few in the house. With none of the other peppers, I don't know if I'm going to end up with hot sauce again this year. So, I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing. Potatoes. I keep thinking the potatoes are going to be done and ready for harvest. And they just keep going. So, still excited for potatoes. Still anxiously awaiting, but just have not gotten there yet. And I mean, really, that's it for food. I do have, let me see, some carrots going in there. Big run of carrot. Gonna run them in the greenhouse. And then let's see if we can get through the screen here. You can kind of see I've got some tomatoes and peppers and some more fall plants going back there. Video on these coming separately. If you're interested on those update, that's coming out along with this one, but in a separate video. And so we'll just end by touring the sunflowers. See, the ones on this side taking a little bit longer to catch up, but they're getting there. And we will end with this beauty. So good luck growing, and happy harvest, everyone.